Hello and welcome to episode 20. That's a bit of a milestone for me because that means I've been on since November and have been doing these since then and one every week. So I'm quite proud of myself. But I want to welcome you to episode 20. And we have quite a treat today, actually, because we'll be live with Sara Nystrom, who is the founder and managing director of Impact Pro. And she is an expert in nonverbal communications and such as body language as well as micro expressions. So something very, I think, key that we all need to understand about. So it helps us not only in our business, but also in our personal life. So I want to welcome Sara to the studio. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you
for inviting
us
me
today. Yeah, you're more than welcome. I was quite impressed when I saw you at one of the recent women's summits. I thought that was fantastic. You really impressed me with your knowledge. So I appreciate you joining me today.
I'm very honored to be here. And before starting, congratulations to you, Linda, for session number 20. Well done. Fantastic job. I will sign up for now. I'm going to listen from now on to your future sessions.
Yeah, we've had some really excellent information with different ones coming on, doctors and different ones with nutrition and so on. So really, really good. So now you're adding to the mix, which is really exciting. Really exciting. Yes, good. So let's get into it. First of all, I understand you speak 8 languages. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, it's true. I speak many languages, 8 languages. That includes my mother tongue, which is Swedish. But yes, I do. And I guess that we're all, there's not a single human being that's not born with a gift, right? So mine happens to be communication in different ways. And language is part of it, right? And I was also blessed to live in many parts of the world. So that is also one of the reasons that I had opportunity to learn languages.
So did that help you then in what you're doing now, your nonverbal communications business?
Oh, very much. I think it helped me to grow and to realize my gifts, to realize that I have a gift in connecting with people, and not only a gift, I talk a lot about gifts now, but also I had a great opportunity, not to forget that, to practice connection, communication, building relations. Because when you're on your own in different parts of the world, you don't speak the language. First of all, it's a lot about nonverbal, right? But also it's about connecting because you're on your own, right? You need to get what you need to get, right? So a lot of training in that.
I am listening to you. Don't mind, I'm not looking, but I am listening. It's just that I'm trying to also see if there's anyone that is offering any comments in the chat and has joined us. So you'll see me varying off.
Wonderful.
But that's the reason. So anyway, first of all, tell us about yourself and, explain to us who you are, how you got started, a bit about your business, a bit of background about yourself.
A little background. Thank you, Linda. So for as long as I can remember, I have been all about communication and building relation with others. And I'm also born with quite an adventurous spirit. So when I was 19, I left Sweden and I would actually not come back home other than short periods of time for the coming 10 years. All about.
Sorry.
When I was 19,
I have to turn this down. Sorry about that. Carry on.
No worries. So I was for the coming 10 years. I was mostly abroad, and then as I said in the beginning, that made me grow as a person. I learned many things about myself, which you do. You're forced into that when you live on your own in different parts of the world, right? And also in communication. And as I got back to Sweden, I would had many different kinds of jobs. But for a long period of time, I worked with the Swedish Migration Agency. So instead of me going to the world, I received people from all around the world, mostly asylum seekers. And with time, I realized that there is a huge need in communication training. Everybody needs to improve their communication skills.
Well,
And with
indeed.
time, I started my own business, training companies, organizations, and individuals around the world and these days in how to become better at building relations and connecting with others and communicating and be impactful in our communication.
But was there a specific reason why you decided to get into this field of communications?
Number one is my passion. It's my passion, and I realize that I have things to offer. I realize that there is a huge need, and I realize I have the skills. And that was pretty obvious. That I think is the base for any business. We realize that there is a need in society or wherever, and that you have something to offer, right? But also, I increased my knowledge. I was formally trained then in body language and in micro expressions, and I realized that what I learned during my trainings, because today I'm a body language master trainer and I'm a body micro expressions trainer as well, and impact coach. And when I took those trainings, I realized that, hey, I've been doing this for big parts of my life, but now I got also like scientifically trained, because there's science behind that. There is actually science behind how to build great relations. Isn't that wonderful?
That is amazing. That is amazing. Well, we'll get into a little bit about the science itself, but I understand that there's different percentages of communication. I read there was 7%, and maybe you can explain that. Obviously,
that is based on the Albert Mehrabian model, and it says that 7% of our communication is verbal, 38, is with words, what we usually consider communication. We prepare ourselves for our meetings and our presentations. It's all about words usually, right? But then we have 38% is voice and 55% is body language. Now, that model, I want to say that also, it's been criticized because it's been overused by people like myself. And so I want to underline that this study actually, it's difficult because we are all complex human beings, right? So it depends on the situation, it depends on the individual, right? But what is important is not the exact percentage. What is important is that a big part of our communication takes place subconsciously. Yes. With body language and with voice. If you add 55 and 38 from that model, you get 97%. So, but we can forget about the number, but just that a big part of our communication, because I don't want to base on this model because it's been criticized, but a big part of our communication really takes place subconsciously. And we all the time we leak signals so much. And that is, and also people pick it up at a subconscious level. And that is actually a big part.
Right. So can you explain then what sort of, or give us some examples of non-verbal communications, and what sort of things do you look for when you're in meetings or dealing with people and so on?
That is you realize, Lynn, that is a very big question.
I know,
it's a very big question. But
you can give us a sample of,
when you work with this, and when you train this, when you go to my training and you start practicing these things, with time, it becomes like a sixth sense. So nowadays, it's not like I continuously look at people's faces like this. People are sometimes afraid of sitting in front of me because they think that I nowadays is more like it becomes like an intuition, like more like I see things, of course I do, both body and face, but most of all it has become a sixth sense. That's how these things work. But if I were to step back and talk about what I see the facial expressions, like micro expressions. And micro expressions, if the viewers and the listeners are not aware of what it is, micro expressions are involuntary muscle movements in the face for half a second or shorter that reveal hidden emotions. And what is interesting with the micro expressions, why I'm all about that, I talk about body language in general too, but mostly the micro expressions, because they can never be faked. We always have the truth in the face. And that's why when you learn to read that, it is a very powerful tool to have, for example, in sales negotiation or in coaching, or any relation that you have with others, right? Because of how the brain works. The brain has three parts, if we simplify, right? We have the emotional brain, and we have the rational brain. And then we also have the reptile brain.
Reptile.
The reptile brain, yes. The reptile brain and the emotional brain, they are the oldest parts of the brain. And they are very, very quick. Then we have the rational brain, which is the newest part of the brain. That's where we reason and compare things, pros, cons, right? We like to be up there, right? But we are very much controlled by the other parts of the brain. For example, when we walk in the forest and we see a stick, we're not going to go like, and it looks like a snake. We're not going to go like, I wonder if this is a snake. No, we're probably going to jump aside, right?
Yeah.
And that is because it's the reptile brain and the very the quick parts and the emotional, because we're probably going to we're going to show micro expressions of fear at that moment, that very second, right?
Sure.
If we would use the rational part of the brain, we may have died, right? So it's there for a reason. So because we are so controlled by these, the micro expressions are controlled by this part of the brain, there is no time to fake it. The moment you feel something, it is really in your face. And you may try to train. There are people, of course, that are like in the military service, and they get really professionally trained to hide. And there are high-level negotiators also that get trained. And of course, you can, but not forever. Even trained people will leak sooner or later.
Yes.
And there are techniques to make them leak. You can make them leak also, or you wait for them to leak. And that can take time. That can take time also.
Because there's some people that, well, I'm seeing them on TV and so on, how, they are the guilty one, whatever. But they just manage to keep such a straight face and can just pretend. And there's people like that in real life.
Of course. But there are different things you can try and do. You can try to switch topic and you see if they get relieved. For example, that's something you could do. And also when we lie, if we talk about lying, or hiding something, usually we smile more than otherwise. But now we turned it into lying. Yeah, that's not what we talked about really. But when we try to hide something and we are not really truthful, we try to also sometimes mask it with a different feeling. Like, for example, we have the politicians that they're accused for something. They often can turn to aggression. Like we've seen that over and over again.
Sure.
And that could be used to hide things that we really don't want to be open with.
I'm just going to jump out of the sort of arena we're in right now. I was watching a YouTube thing where they were analyzing the Sussexes, that's Prince Harry and Meghan. And these were people like yourself, I think most of them were with the police and the, military, those types of people. And they were saying there were so many micro expressions from her and him, but mostly from her. Did you get that sense as well? That
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. See, Linda, I've been so caught up. There's so many things happening in my life right now. I'm building, I don't know if we're going to get to that later. So my whole life is right now only strictly business. and maybe a little bit of sleep, but that's what it is. So the other world,
you're a busy
existing. I'm a busy woman.
Busy woman.
I'm
that's
sorry, I can't help you.
Fair enough. No, I was just curious as to what your thoughts were on it.
Yeah. Oh, if you told me, I could have checked it. We can talk about it later. I can check the clip. I'll tell you later on.
Maybe another time.
I'll be happy to.
Time, yeah, for sure.
But this is really cool how you can see, and also talking about that Center for Body Language. We've done so many. I used to be the executive director of Center for Body Language, which is world leading in body language training for business. And Center for Body Language has done so many interesting studies around the world. And we were also on Fox News predicting, or there was a big study actually during the elections in 2012. It must have been when it was elections, and it was either Obama or
Trump. Trump.
No, it was Obama against.
Hillary Clinton. Was
No,
it
that was
Hillary?
not the one. It
No,
was a
it wasn't
man.
Hillary.
Oh, we should know this. This is terrible. I'm a political scientist.
Oh,
Anyway,
oh,
but it
yeah.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what. It'll come later. So they had a lot of people watching clips, and then they watched the faces. So they were actually able to determine the elections, the outcome, only by watching people's faces, only by studying their micro expressions and write about it. And also we've had a big pitch contest where we've been able to watch the jury members of the pitch contest, and in front of thousands of people live predicted the winner of the contest correctly. So these things are very, very powerful. Also, one year, I think we were watching, only the contestant on stage and giving scores to all of them, the body language, and the highest one won the competition. So this is how powerful we can actually see someone. We can see the potential in that person only by watching the body language. How successful, what chances that person has of being successful in a certain situation.
Very interesting. So, who are the demographic or the people that you sort of that could use your service, or you tend to go after? I may use that word.
I would love to say human beings. But typically, I have focused on business like companies with sales and negotiation trainings. I have teamed up also with a senior, one of the world's leading experts in negotiations. So we've collaborated during trainings. So both communication and negotiation in a combined training. So sales and negotiation would be typical. But I have also trained a lot of individuals that just wanted personal development, coaching, like coaching and is tip for any like hospital staff in the hospital communicating with the patients. Is so helpful in any job you have, psychiatrist, any job you have where you have connection with another person. Like lawyers also, any kind of service profession as well. Yeah, but typically I have worked with sales and negotiation and helping. Actually, our trainings help companies to increase their sales by up to 30%. And we have also done studies in companies in different sectors around the world, and it always shows the same, that in any company, there will always be salespeople that have top performers, and we have the ones that are average performers, right? But it always shows, because we always do pre-tests and post-tests after our trainings to show that they really learned something, right? And before the pre-tests always show the same, because when you compare them to the sales results, the best salespeople always have the highest scores in reading facial expressions. Always.
Yes.
But the good thing about this is that you can improve it. Everybody can improve it.
Yeah, so really key then that everybody learn. Can you actually teach anybody to?
Oh, anybody.
Learn how
And I gave a training a couple of weeks ago, and there was a lady, and she felt like a bit stressed because she got such a low. She didn't tell me her score, or I could see it, but I didn't check it. Because it didn't matter. I know that she will get it up, right? So she was about, she didn't have a high score at the pre-test, and said, not to worry, you're going to increase it. And she increased her score by 45% only after the first training, only after having a 3-hour session together with me in the class. So, and we have, that's also something else I want to tell you about, because I get so passionate about this, because
sure, I can see the passion.
Yeah. Because once we have also done studies with emotional intelligence. So we test people emotional intelligence, and we test them their ability to read microexpressions, and then we give the training, and we do the same 2 tests afterwards. And there is also a very strong correlation, because you do not only increase your ability to read microexpressions, you also increase your emotional intelligence by up to 20%. So usually between 10 to 20%, we increase the emotional intelligence. And that is something you have with you for the rest of your life.
So how often do you do these trainings, these types of things? Is that a monthly thing that you do them, or to
Oh, it
specific groups,
depends. It
or?
depends. I get contacted by companies. Now, these
Mhm.
days, I've been very busy with other projects that I have that are taking a lot of time. So I've actually said no to, or we have moved them a bit forward, but ahead in time. But I get contacted by companies and also a lot of speaking engagements on this topic. And I don't only teach how to read others, that's very powerful, but also how to become more impactful in our communication, because I
Mhm.
mean, it's two-way, right? One
Yeah.
thing is picking up and becoming more conscious, not only picking them up subconsciously, but becoming more conscious about the signals people send us. But we
Mhm.
can also we can never control, as I said, our faces. If we try to control, it's going to show. People are going to feel that it's something fishy, right? If we try
Something
to
going on. Yeah.
put a smile on, or I have examples of that, it's
Mhm.
going to be strange, right? We cannot control that, but we can control our inside, our inner climate,
Mhm.
to be, because I'm also a mind trainer. I didn't say that initially.
You're
So
what? Sorry.
when we
Can you repeat that?
a mind trainer.
Mind trainer.
So
Okay.
I help
Mhm.
people with self-love, self-confidence, self-esteem, attitude, expectations, all these things. Because the body we exercise, we go to the gym, right? But very few
Yes.
people train their brains and their
Their mind.
minds.
Yeah.
And if
Sure.
we don't, I mean, we should, all of us, we all need to do that. Besides, we
Mm.
have a lot of ideas in the subconscious that we're not aware of, but they are controlling our whole lives. What we
Mhm.
expect from ourselves, what we believe about ourselves. There is a lot of, and excuse me for the word, but there is a lot of bullshit going on around down there in the subconscious. It's not true, the limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves. So
Mhm.
we are able to remove all that, because that comes out as negative energy and negative expectachations. And that is not very powerful, right? So we can turn that and we can become powerful on the inside. We're going to become automatically more charismatic, and we're going to send out more positive signals. And
Mhm.
that's going to have a big effect on our relations with others. Actually, I have a video that I usually show during my trainings, and it's a
Okay.
CEO that we have trained. We did body language coaching with him for about 2 weeks, and he became a different person. He
Really.
had negative micro expressions going on, and he wasn't aware of that. He was using his hands in a negative way. And then you think that body language coaching would be me sitting down and telling him what to do. No, we didn't do that. But we trained his mindset. That's what we
Right.
did for 2 weeks. And then we recorded again when he did the speech, and it was like you saw a different person. And all the time I asked him in my training, so who would you prefer doing business with? Would you prefer number one or number two?
Mm.
And of course, everybody goes for number two, because that man is charismatic. The first one
Mm.
is like, when he's talking, he's doing like little things, little things, but you
Mhm.
don't get the same feeling about him like you do with the
Mhm.
second one.
I find that amazing that you can actually change somebody's. It's almost like changing a personality when you talk about
Exactly. It's
the
like
training
it
that you're
is like a different
doing.
person. Still, it's the
Yeah.
same. We can see it's the
Yeah.
same person, but it
But just the
feels like a
reactions
different.
are different. So you're
Exactly.
saying you can train people to have a different reaction, different outcome, if you like.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
And during I have started, I've actually created a new concept. I don't know if we're going to get to that, but I train women around the world now with my new concept, and I'm so excited about this. I have done, and I usually do an exercise with them where we listen to sad. We start out like this. We listen to sad music for 2 minutes only, and we bring out the pessimists. We all have pessimists, right? We bring them out and we
Yes.
think about all the challenges in our life. And I ask them to please think in a negative way now. Go to the dark place. And we do that for 2 minutes. And then I ask them, so how do you feel? Because everything is connected, thoughts and
Mm.
emotions and body language, and
Mm.
ultimately our actions, they go
Mm.
together. So I ask them how they feel, and it's like, you can expect how they feel, right? And their body language and everything is affected by that. Then we go into the next step in this exercise, and that's when we put on the happy clappy music. And I say, this is not just to be goofy and funny. This is actually a real experiment, because I want you to dance with me now, and I want you to feel woohoo happy. I want you to just go with the music and try to relax and just bring out the optimism. Life is fun. And we do that. We dance and we shake and we giggle for 2 minutes. And then I ask them the same question. So how do you feel now? And they are euphoric and happy. And it may sound totally exaggerated now, but it's really how it is all the time. And from different parts of the world, I get the same reactions because this is how easy it is. We can condition. It actually doesn't come from me. It comes from Tony Robbins. We can condition ourselves. And Tony Robbins says that motion creates emotion. So when we move our bodies, we are able to change the state within. That's how easy it is. So I dance with my son, not every morning, but I dance with him in the mornings to teach him this, that he is totally the master of the energy. And I do this. If you asked me before, I didn't have time today actually, but before my interviews and before my important meetings, I do, not always like I dance for minutes, but I try to. When I put my makeup on, I definitely have that music on, and I do everything I wouldn't go and have an argument with someone, never before something important coming up. Or usually I actually have arguments very rarely, to be honest. But just for you to understand the difference. And by the way, I asked these women, how do you think when you step into the office in the morning? Now we have to think maybe post-corona, or some people actually maybe go to the office. But how do you think that you would? What signals would you emit? Being in the first dark place, being in the second one, would there bring the difference? How would your colleagues perceive you?
And so what you're saying is the external environment really can really impact and affect how
I'm saying
we think and behave.
Yeah, I'm saying that the energy that we feel on the inside, if it's sad or if it's happy, we're gonna emit signals. You're gonna sense some kind of energy coming from me, right? You feel either a happy energy or you feel a low energy or you feel something in between. And you step into the office in the morning, you say good morning. You say good morning with your whole body, right? Your body speaks also. You don't have to say good morning verbally. You can also say good morning with your body. And there is a big difference if you come from the dark, depressed morning, or if you had a happy morning. There will be a difference.
That's what I'm trying to establish. That person that gets up in the morning and they've had, say, family that have been negative, external things really affect how they're going to feel and how they're going to carry on. They might be a positive person, but if they have negativity around them, they're going to react negatively.
Yeah. But there is also one, because I work as a mind trainer, so I also train people to strengthen the muscle up here that makes, for most people, life is a roller coaster. Life is an emotional roller coaster. So we are tossed around depending on if we're having a good or a bad day. If things happen, good or bad things, we are like victims of that, right? We allow ourselves to be victims because we haven't trained this muscle. But when we train this muscle, we are much better equipped. So it doesn't have to be up and down. We can move through life smoothly, right?
What would you say to a woman that, she's had, say, negativity in the morning from somebody around her, whatever, family and so on? What could she say or do to help herself? I know you said put music on.
No, that is the short. So there are two perspectives. I want to be clear. We talk about many levels here. So we can work on ourselves in the long term, right? That will be the mental training you do every day for a long time, because there is no quick fix. You work with yourself, and that would be the most important thing. Sure. And then for particular situations, for example, I have interviews or have big presentations or important meetings, then I always also do the boosting thing. For me, it's music. Yeah. But I can also quickly go into my mind. So I have this special technique. You quickly go down deep, a deep relaxed state. And then I visualize. And it's important to not only, it helps to do it. Also, when we talk now, we can just close our eyes and we just visualize, right? But it's even more powerful if we can relax and we go down deep in the relaxed state, because we are more effective there. We are more receptive. And then I visualize in front of me how amazing it's going to be, what an interview I'm going to give, or what a presentation. And I vividly imagine in front of me with my five senses, or as many senses I can bring up with my imagination. How does it look around me? How does it sound? People are clapping their hands and they're crazy about my performance, for example, right? And I smell, maybe what do I smell? I smell coffee. I don't know. I try to use my different senses, because why do I do this? This is not just for me to, I know, do some mind game. It really works, because when we create future memories, the brain cannot distinguish between future memories and the real ones. The brain is not able to do that. So you may say the brain is stupid in one way, but we can use that. We can use that and trick our mind. And so that sensation will support us during the upcoming interview or presentation or whatever.
Oh wow, that sounds fantastic.
Yes.
You wanted we wanted to talk about a bit about more what you're doing with women, and you said that various programs and so on you have coming up.
Yes, I'd love to tell you about that. So back in November, this is quite new actually. In November, I gave a big presentation in a Pan-African organization. And afterwards, I was contacted by a power lady, an absolute power lady. Her name is Rachel Akem Harumi, and she's in Nigeria. She's the president and founder of an organization called Women in Africa. And Rachel had the vision for 2 years. She had a vision to create something big. Because what she's doing in Africa for women, helping women and empowering women, she felt that why only in Africa? Why not the world? Right. So she was meditating on this for 2 years, and really, when she had everything ready, she felt that she was just waiting for the right people to turn up. And she saw me giving the presentation quite passionately, and she contacted me afterwards, and she said, I've been waiting for the right people. I want you to be one of the co-founders. And of course, I'm a person that say yes to things coming my way. That is my attitude, and that I also try to teach others, by the way, say yes to things coming away. And so I said yes. And so now I'm one of the very proud co-founders of this World Women Organization. So we are very new. We are getting our website ready, and we are already getting lots of interest. And we had our first information meeting. We're setting up our boards, advisory board, executive board, management board, and we will have envoys in 195 countries. So it's all about giving women one voice around the world. So we will together step up. For example, in Nigeria, there are places that women are not allowed to own land, for example.
Right.
So we can go together, all of us, and we can speak for that one issue. Women from 195 countries. So we have 195 country directors or envoys, and also countless ambassadors. So it's going to be big, and we already have some quite powerful people wanting to join us. So it's going to be something amazing. It will take some time to build it. We just invited, we sent out our first 20 letters of acceptance to our first 20 envoys, and we are very, very excited. So that is one thing that I'm working on that I'm very, very happy about. Yes. And then I've also created something called Confident Communication Queen, which is my very own concept. And that came to me like a lightning, very interesting. 2020 was a very challenging year for me as a business owner, and like for many people, right? And I used the time to create new things. Sometimes we need to see what is good about the challenge. Well, the good thing was that I had time to sit down and think instead of running around. And when I was thinking, I opened up and this thing came to me, which is Confident Communication Queen. So Confident Communication Queen is a concept that aims at helping women also globally. So they go hand in hand, actually. It's quite funny how things turn out. And so women around the world, because I realized that all human beings need this, but particularly women, we need to work on our inner power. We need to work on our self-love, self-esteem. And when we do that, we can become powerful communicators and leaders. And the world needs right now female leaders, right? We need to step up. And it's not like ruling the world instead of the men. It's joining hands with men and ruling the world together with them. That's what I believe time has come for that. So I have 5 modules in my program. One is inner power. That's what we talked about a bit so far, right? Inner power, and then self-love, self-esteem, all these things. And then the second one is social competence, how to understand other people, how to adapt ourselves to other people, other people's personality traits, and also intercultural communication, different parts of the world. There are different sort of behaviors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then number 3 is charisma. We can grow our charisma just like that business leader. We can become, I call it, get what you like and be liked. That's what I summarize it with. That's charisma. And that number 4, we have negotiation, because as I teamed up with this leading negotiation expert, he has taught me everything there is to know about how to be creative negotiation, how to create win-win situations. I'm all about how to create win-win and from your heart, right? Mm-hmm. So you have instead of crushing your competitors, you build something long-lasting, right? Mm-hmm. So that is about negotiation, and negotiate to get what you want. And that is very powerful as well. And the last part is emotional intelligence. And that is what we talked about before, how to read other people, how to adapt your communication. We have body language, we have micro facial expressions, right? And increasing your emotional intelligence. So all of these things together will make you a confident communication queen, and you'll be ready to step up and rule. And we have a Facebook group called Confident Communication Queen. And I'm telling you, with 3 months, it's amazing how things can happen so quickly. And I hardly have time to keep up with it, actually. I'm very, very grateful for it and proud. So within 3 months, I think now we are close to 1,000 members from it's more than 32 countries. I think we have 33 countries now, and all continents. So it is a very warm global sisterhood. And we will have a membership, and I will also have soon a mentorship program that I will launch in 2022. So little one step by one. Yeah, thank you, Linda. Thank you.
Yeah, so we've sort of come to the end. The time goes so fast. But what I want to do is, and promise you, is come back and tell me more about these programs once you get.
I would love to.
Especially
Thank
that
you, Linda.
one, that world ambassador type thing that you're putting together. That sounds.
Would love for you to join us, both as a World Women Organization representative, and please also do join, both you, Linda, and you all this is for women only. The women who listen, join the Confident Communication Queen Facebook group. And actually, World Women Organization, we have both a Facebook group and a page, and we invite men, because men are needed for women to step up, right? It's not only about women.
Indeed, yeah. So I want to thank you, Sara, very much, but we'll have you back another time. I know the time's gone fast, and there's lots to sort of squeeze into that, but I'm sure we'll have you back next time. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me, Linda. Take care and see you soon again. Thank you all for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
So that's Sara Nystrom, a fantastic lady, telling us all about non-verbal communication. And I think we could all do with that, including how to negotiate and charisma, etc., all those types of things. So hopefully you can join her Facebook page, and we'll have her back again to discuss some other, many of the things that she discussed today, and just to find out her progress. So next week we have Cheryl Douglas on, and she is going to be sharing. Let me just find that. She is an empowerment coach, so that should be very interesting again, that we can learn more about. But other than that, that's it for us, and so we'll see you next time, same space, next Thursday, 4 p.m. That's BST, British Summer Time. So we shall see you then. Other than that, bye for now.